RoughRiders trying to close out a 3-game series with a win against the Tulsa Drillers tonight, and joining us on the RoughRiders pregame show is a special guest, Ryley Westman, roving instructor and assistant catching coordinator for the Texas Rangers. Ryley, thanks so much for joining us. You're a native of Smithville, Missouri, but I can't imagine you're spending a lot of time there this summer. As a roving instructor, what exactly is that lifestyle like?
So far, it has been a blast. I am a native of Smithville, which is just north of Kansas City, but I've been fortunate. I've been able to be on the road and see every one of our affiliates twice so far, and this is my first trip in to be with the Frisco team. But it has been on the road a lot, and I'm getting fortunate to see a lot of our players quite a bit.
And the folks in Arlington are pretty down, as you can imagine, because of injuries and so forth. But what is the perspective, having seen all of the affiliates at this point? Is there hope for the future for Rangers fans?
I know that the big league team is battling some adversity right now, and listening to JD interview yesterday on the radio, I think he gave nothing but confidence to the guys that we do have healthy. That's a group of guys up there that we believe in, no doubt, and you watch the last 2 games they've played, they've had a lot of success. I think we're going to ride that hot hand and they're going to be all right. But as far as our minor league guys, I don't think our organization could be more excited about the kids that we have in our organization, not only physically, but just the mental way that they go about their game and their preparation. I spent the last couple of years in the Dominican and, very proud of what we have going on out there in that program, but I've been blown away with the preparation and, the focus that these guys take in every day getting ready. But it is a talented group of kids. It's going to be a lot of fun the next couple of years.
Now, this is your first trip to Frisco this season. What are you seeing at the AA level that distinguishes itself from single A and triple A?
I think you see, immediately come what I see from the pitching perspective. You see, some guys that run out there with good velo every night, and they can manipulate the baseball. You see these guys being able to hit an outside corner and bust guys in when they want to on different counts. You're seeing some guys that are a little bit more polished in their game. I think we have, physical guys all throughout our system, but I think you see guys at this level that can, control their body a little bit better, repeat their swings, repeat their deliveries. They're just, more skilled players with a little bit more experience under their belt.
Ryley Westman, assistant catching coordinator in the Rangers farm system, joining us on the RoughRiders pregame show. As a roving instructor, Ryley, are you here mostly to observe and report to higher-ups in the organization, or are you here to instruct and tutor these guys, these catchers, to make them better players?
Without question, we have several coordinators in our system, and our biggest responsibility is come here, help the managers and coaches here in any way we can, but then also help in our specialty area. I mean, my number one objective when I come into town is, any trouble that these guys are having behind the plate, whether it's receiving, throwing, blocking, whatever it might be, game calling, we're supposed to get in here, help in any way we can and, polish their game in that area. And these guys are, so mature about their business. Hey, man, I'm having trouble with my throwing. I'm standing up. I'm losing my legs. We'll get out here and we'll rep that. And, the coaching staffs at all these affiliates couldn't be more beneficial and, giving us the time to work with them and all that. But without doubt, we got to report to somebody. We're sending out reports, updating on how these guys are progressing and how everything's going along. But, no, we're hands-on as much as we can be.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the 3 catchers currently listed on the RoughRiders roster. First, Patrick Cantwell. He's getting the start at backstop tonight, and he's thrown out 11 of 27 would-be stolen base stealers this season. What can you say about his game? What does he do well behind the plate?
I tell you what, Pat's a really good receiver. He's an extremely intelligent young man. He thinks baseball all the time. When he throws, he's very accurate. Even if you watch him in between innings tonight, you're going to see him putting the ball right on the bag. And he's very efficient. He stays low when he throws. He uses his legs. He's got a good arm, but he really gets that drive from his legs. But I think he's a guy that pitchers definitely like having back there because he's locked in all the time, and he's going to be on top of what needs to be called. He's going to put down the right fingers.
Now, he cracked his first home run of the season 2 nights ago, but he's still hitting below the Mendoza line by a few points. Are you giving him some pointers on his approach in the batting box, or do you just stick with his catching skills?
I've been fortunate to be here the last couple of days and seeing the work that him and Jason Hart are putting in together, and Brian Dayette's in town helping a little bit, but they kind of got a routine that they're going through that I think's taking Pat in the right direction. They're working on some things in early work. They're getting the machine out here, really working on, him getting behind the ball and driving it, but I think, I leave all the hitting to the hitting guys that are here. I'll help in any way I can. But Jason Hart, Brian Dayette, Pat Cantwell, they got a good thing going right now. He's going to be good. They're going the right direction.
Well, fellow catcher for Cantwell on the team, Tomas Telis, has been on an absolute tear at the plate. Are there some things that he needs to work on to tighten up the screws as a catcher?
I think Tellys has done a great job in making adjustments on the fly. He's actually just made an adjustment in his receiving stance. He's narrowed up a little bit and freed up his hands a little bit to receive, and I've been really pleased with what I've seen as far as him catching and controlling the baseball. The throwing's been really good. We had him actually someone tried to steal just yesterday, in fact, and he threw a 1.83 down there. It was right on the bag, and he was out by 2 steps. But I think Tellys has really quick feet. He stays low to the ground. He as well calls a good ball game, and he's just going to continue to get better the more time he gets back there. I think he's doing a really nice job.
If Talese continues to hit at the clip that he is, which you told me before we went on, that he's virtually a 300 career hitter.
Yeah.
If he continues to hit at that rate, does he have the defensive skills maybe to earn a promotion to, say, AAA by the time the season ends?
I think Tellys is doing a lot of things really well right now. And depending on, what guys are doing at other levels and what the need is, I can't answer, who's going to go where and what's going to happen as far as those things. But without question, if Tellys keeps playing baseball the way he is, next to the plate and behind the plate, he's doing everything that he needs to be doing right now to earn that. What will happen, I don't know, but he needs to just keep doing what he's doing. He's in the right place.
Now, the third guy on the third catcher on the roster for the RoughRiders, a guy by the name of Carlos Garay. Nobody, as a RoughRiders fan, has seen him play because I think he's strictly limited to a bullpen catcher at this point. But you, I believe, managed him in the Dominican Summer League a couple of years ago. If you're just a bullpen catcher on this roster, can you expect a player like Garay to develop where he is right now?
You know what, I do. I think Pat Cantwell, Woody, the head coach, and Tomas Tellys do a really nice job of helping him in any way that he can. He's able to get a lot of receiving work in with the bullpens that he's catching. He comes out and does all the early work with these guys. They bring him out early. They do blocking with him. They've really kind of taken Garay under their wing and make sure that he's getting the work in that he needs. Garay's a young kid, and he's learning a lot from the experience of being around these guys and how they prepare, mentally what they have to do to get into these ball games and kind of the way they go about their business. So I think this is definitely a good development step for him.
We're with Ryley Westman, roving instructor here on the Frisco RoughRiders pregame show. And Ryley, as we wrap up, you were, as we've mentioned, in the Dominican Summer League as a catching coach and then as a manager for the past 4 seasons. Are you happy to be stateside, and how is your Spanish?
Well, when I first went out there, and the boys I'm sure would get a good kick out of it. When I first went out there, I didn't know a lick of Spanish, and kind of being thrown into the fire and working with the boys every day and being with that staff out there. The Spanish, I was able to pick enough up. I wouldn't say that I'm fluent, but I can sit down and talk baseball with the boys and be able to shoot it around with them. So I did pick up quite a bit of Spanish, and I couldn't be more happy to be over here in the United States. It's it's home for us, and. But in that same token, the experiences that I had out in the Dominican were ones that I'll never forget, and it was a huge development tool for myself. I mean, it is eat, drink, sleep, live baseball over there. And when your day is done, the only thing you really have to do is think more about baseball and how I can improve this drill or get more reps in that fundamental. So it's something that I wouldn't trade for anything. It was where I needed to be, and I'm grateful that I did have that experience. But now to be over here in the United States, it's been a blast as well. And in fact, I'm going to head back out to the Dominican next week, and I'm pretty excited to see those boys out there again.
You help a lot of players down there jumpstart their careers, and now as a roving instructor, I would imagine you're seeing a lot of players that you managed a few years ago when they were just getting started, and it must be cool to see how they've developed and progressed since you've seen them in the Dominican.
That has probably been the funnest thing for me, to come over to these affiliates and see some of these guys for the first time step onto a field where there's a lot of fans in the crowd, and whether it's a pitcher that gets a strikeout and he gets that response from the crowd that's cheering, and or a hitter that goes up there and he gets his first professional hit in the States, to see the look on their face and know where they've come from and kind of the battle they've gone through over in the Dominican and the process to get here to the States. I couldn't be more happy for a lot of these kids. It is really neat to get to see that.
Ryley, thanks so much for your time and joining us. Best of luck with all the travel the rest of the summer, and we hope to see you around Frisco sometime before the regular season ends.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Ryley Westman on the Frisco RoughRiders pregame show. Stick around. The RoughRiders pregame show continues right after this on the RoughRiders Baseball Network.